don't understand. When we hear a negative, no, 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 I turn the radio on, I turn the radio up, and this woman was playing my song, Lovers in Love. There's nothing out there when I'm thrown. Everybody remember Lisa Loeb? Lisa, if you're out there, I hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well, Lisa. What a hit. What a hit song. The 90s really ushered in that that guitarist, that solo guitarist vibe. What are you doing? What are you doing? Really? Okay, buddy. All right. Hi. Yeah. What's up, J66? How are ya? How are ya? Do you remember Lisa Loeb? You might be too young. You might be too young. What year did Lisa Loeb release Stay? What year was that? Lisa Loeb. Stop hitting my hand. I'm trying to type. I can't type. 1994. I remember when that song came out. Oh, that's crazy. 1994. God. Had its 30 year anniversary. What's up, Nathan? Working. Oh, well, hopefully things go by quickly. Oh, working like that. Okay. All right. Well, good to see everybody. Oh my God, because you know what? It was released, if you didn't know this, Lisa Loeb's 1994 hit, Stay, was released on the Reality Bites album, starring Ben Stiller, Winona Ryder, and Ethan Hawke. And I had that movie on VHS. I loved Reality Bites. I thought Ethan Hawke's song where he said, I ain't no Democrat or Republican. Ethan Hawke was a wannabe musician in that song and a stone cold heartbreaker. It was a good movie. Good movie. Reality Bites, Singles. I'm trying to think what else. Singles was great because that movie, if you haven't seen it, they have Pearl Jam in it. Alice in Chains plays at the club in the movie a couple, I think 2 times. Absolute brilliant. You know, I'm kind of bummed that Nirvana never got to do that in one of these cult classic 90s movies. But yeah, Lisa Loeb's Stay turns 31 this year. I don't know why I'm doing that, but I've had Stay echoing in my head all day. And I think that I'm thrown, but I'm thrown. And you say, I feel like that's every Trump supporter song with Donald Trump. Stay, and you say, Christina knows what's up, and you say, yes. See, I'm not the only one. I'm not the only. Listen, that was a fucking jam. I don't care who you were in 1994. Okay, I don't know what clique you were getting with in 1994. If you were with the Goths or the Socias or the Greasers, I don't care, man. That song came on, you were singing along quietly. And you say, only hear what I want to. I don't listen hard. Only hear a negative. No, 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 no. Such a good tune. Said, I wish this was like my radio show and I could just cue the music. It's killing me that I can't play it right now because I feel like we could all just sing along to Stay for a couple of minutes, you know, and just make the world a better place for just that short 3-minute song. But I forget, for me, you know, like I forget that came out in 1994 on the Reality Bites movie soundtrack. I remember buying movie soundtracks. I bought Brandon Lee's The Crow movie soundtrack on single. Nah, it wasn't a single. On cassette. I brought the Brandon Lee Crow cassette soundtrack because they had Stone Temple Pilots' Interstate Love Song. And for you young kids who can stream all the music you want in the palm of your hand, we had to wait till it came on the radio. So you would call a radio station and be like, could you please play this song? I need to hear it again. And you would just pray that they would play the song. This is part of the reason I got into radio. Because I was like, I'm going to control it. And turns out you don't control it at all. And you would call and just pray, you would just wait. And you'd be like, oh. And then if you were lucky, you had a blank cassette in the boombox, and you'd hit record, and that was the early stages of pirating. You'd record it off the radio, and you would have your own tape of it. So I bought Brandon Lee, still the best and only Crow in my opinion. I've never seen another Crow movie. Can't always rain. I bought that soundtrack on cassette to hear Stone Temple Pilots' Interstate Love Song. And I remember sitting in my dad's car, I think it was my dad's car at the time, to put it in the tape deck and play it. And I could just sit there and rewind it, play it, rewind it, play it. Oh my God. I love your taste in music. I was born in the early 80s. Yeah, so you're my age, Christina. So you get it. You get it. Malcolm. Rob, I hit the thumbs up. Hey, thank you. Hit that thumbs up. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. We're going to talk about layoff season here in America, because tis the season. Merry layoffs to you and yours. If you don't know, I've joked about this for a couple of decades. I just wish they would do a news segment. You know, why is the mainstream media not doing, merry layoffs to you. Let's see, what corporations just spent $2 billion in stock buybacks and are laying off most of their plant? You know, they should be doing that on the mainstream media. I joke about it because back in 2008, 2009, when I was working in radio and Obama had just got elected, the day after his inauguration, or the night before his inauguration, Clear Channel, now it's iHeartMedia, at the time it was Clear Channel, laid off 30% of its staff. And that was a ton of people. 2 people on the show I worked for got fired that day. A ton of people in the building. And when we had to do those extra jobs, guess what? We didn't get paid like 2 people, but we did the extra work. I cried that day. No joke. I cried. Those are 2 really great people that I loved, that I worked with every single day with. And I was devastated that they didn't know what they were going to do. And, you know, this company, this $1 trillion company, and our show made so much money that it was really, really devastating to watch them just turn around. Mind you, after in radio, we would always be subject to these emails and these company-wide meetings where they would say, the talent is the heart and soul of our business. Without you guys, we're nothing. And then they would turn around and just fire fucking people. Like we weren't making them a shit ton of money. Like we weren't, we weren't doing all the work. So since that day, 2008, let's see, okay, we're almost on 20 years, holy shit. I would joke about layoff season in America. It's always around the holidays. And when I was growing up around the holidays, corporations and big businesses and little businesses, and I watched this happen, would reward their customers. I mean, their longtime employees and even new employees. And if you had longevity, go back and watch National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Chevy Chase's character in that is going to put an in-ground pool with his holiday bonus, his Christmas bonus. And that used to be like a staple. Like businesses wanted to retain talent, wanted to reward workers for staying with them and being great throughout the year and making them a ton of money. And that shifted. And now instead, companies lay off all their workers around this time of year, and they do stock buybacks with their profits, with their billions in profits. They buy their own stock back and artificially inflate their own stock values. By the way, stock buybacks were illegal in America until 1982, until Reagan administration said, oh no, we'll let these companies manipulate the market so they could be wealthier looking, because stock buybacks don't actually mean the company did better. It just inflates the stock price for no reason. Company didn't create something new, didn't have a breakthrough, didn't invest in its workers. It's just bought its own stock back. Created some scarcity, artificially inflated the stock. And hence, usually the CEOs, part of their compensation is stock. John Deere, what's up, man? Malcolm. How you guys doing? How you guys doing? So one of the things I wanted to talk about, and we'll go into all of this. Hold on. We'll go into all this, but we're gonna play some audio for you. Oh, here, what is this? Colonel Sanders right there? Is that Colonel Sanders? My eyes got me wrong. Look at that. I think that's Colonel Sanders in formaldehyde. Oh my God, look at that. But if you didn't know, Tyson is closing a major beef facility. Major beef facility. Sounds like a pretty cool song name. Major beef facility. Shafting 3,000 workers after boosting stock buybacks. Yeah, so we're going to listen to a little bit of audio. But first, in the spirit of music, 'tis the music season. Let's listen to what Jack White has to say. Here's a clip of Jack White.
The word Trump will be on the screen, and it'll be, what has he done now, while you're having your morning coffee. And spend the rest of the day, did you see what he did now? Did you hear what he did now? And basically every morning I've woken up and given this idiot my whole day. It's America's fault for the Electoral College. I think people don't even realize how much of it is that is the problem, is the Electoral College made this happen, but nobody wants to acknowledge that, admit it, and change it. And the people who couldn't change it were brought into power because of the Electoral College, so they're not going to change it. You know, it's like the hypocrisy of like people who want people to clean their houses and mow their lawns, but they don't want to speak to them or something like that. It's just sort of an ancient hypocrisy. Kick all these foreigners out. The whole country is made of foreigners. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous, you know. The word Trump will be on.
I love Jack White. Detroit's own Jack White. Very unique sound in the music business, and what he's done with White Stripes, the Raconteurs, the Dead Leaves. Does he have any other bands? Jack White? Jack White and Jack Black, of course. I think they did something together at one point. Jack White, amazing musician. So there's a little Jack White for you. Little Jackie White, little Jackie White, oh little Jackie White. What was? So here is what is this? MS Now. I can't. What is that? Multiple sclerosis now. That has a news network. Holy Jesus! MS Now. So many news networks, and the funniest thing is like they all have these different names: News Nation, Fox News, MS Now, MS13 Now, CNN, CNNBC, MNNBC, LMNOPBC, and they're all owned by like fucking 3 companies. You know, it's like there's 4,000 different. It's like everything in America reminds me of the cereal aisle. Everything, because you're like, ooh, I watch Fox News and I watch CNN, and it's like it's all owned by like 2 different guys, you know. And it's like, who gives a shit what you watch? Watch Democracy Now, or you know, what's the other one I really like? There's another one outside of Democracy Now. Status Quo News. Okay, there you go. There's some news for you. Watch Valenti vids. If your tender hearts can handle it. But it's so funny. There's so many different flavors of news, and they're all giving you the same regurgitative crap. And that's what I talk about. I'm going to play this massive Tyson factory closure in Nebraska will wipe out 30% of the town's population as Trump economic policies devastate the rural area. That's the title of this. And notice how, like, listen, if I was running this news channel, I'd be like, and now we cut to our layoff corner. And I'd be like, to you. And over in the corner, they would have, you know, like how they used to do like investigative reports. I would just have a layoff corner in the news desk. And you cut over to, you know, some guy who you can't tell what's wrong with him, something. Maybe it's mental, maybe it's, substance. You don't know. And he's obviously on edge, and he's like, well, this week in seasonal layoffs, you know, and he's real irate. In fact, he's probably not even employed there. He's probably a layoff candidate, you know? He's probably one of the dudes that got laid off and they just gave him a microphone. How did this guy get in the building? I'm making up a lot for my own news station. I'm sorry. But I would have a whole segment dedicated to it. In fact, you know what? Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. If I get this channel big enough, thank you to the 10,000 strong who have helped build this community. We're going to do that. We're going to have a layoff season open, you know, jing, 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 jing. Now, merry layoffs. Who bought stock buybacks and who's laying off an entire town in Nebraska? You know, that's what they should be doing. I think this reporting is tepid at best. Tepid. All right, here's MS Now. Apparently they have their own network or something. I don't know what this is. Katie Tur reports. Who the fuck is Katie Tur? Oh, hold on, it's on mute. You'll learn the same amount.
Trump-friendly town in Nebraska.
Do you hear this bitch smiling? Tell me you can hear her smiling. I didn't take a picture of it because I'm wasting the time, but listen to this girl start speaking. Another trick with radio phone scammers, you can hear people smile when they talk. You know, corporations know that. They've done many studies that they want you to smile when saying hello. My God, I love that that's like the new thing in corporate America. Everybody say hello and smile. And you can hear this bitch smiling. Just listen.
Trump-friendly town in Nebraska.
A Trump-friendly town in Nebraska. Like, don't smile, man. Half this town's kids about to go hungry.
Is feeling the weight of the president's economic policies. Joining us, MS Now national reporter Rosa Flores, who's in Lexington.
Oh, damn. Did she say Rosa Flores? Rosa, you better watch out. I hope ICE ain't on the streets. They better not learn your last name. Actually, no, I guess they're not judging by last names because there's a guy named Nick Fuentes who says he's, you know, a white supremacist. And I'm like, not your last name doesn't say that, buddy.
Nebraska, what exactly is going on there?
You know, Katie, have you ever been in a place where you can just feel the pain and the anxiety?
Yeah, it's called America Every Day. Thank you, Rosa Flores. Now back to us. Okay, never mind. What is this, a third-rate reporting program? Jesus. Have you ever been somewhere you can feel the anxiety? Yeah, it's called waking up every Monday morning in America hoping they don't fucking spike your rent or the price of egg.
That's what it feels like being here in Lexington, Nebraska.
Oh my God, is this bitch gonna be this dramatic the whole time? She's not even good. If you're, you know, what's his name? What's the dude, the great actor? Orwell? Not Orwell. Who's the big guy? Who's the big actor? You know the fat actor? Fat actor, really good. Not John Candy. No. Old-timey fat actor, legendary. That guy. Who's that guy? Who's that guy? Shockingly fat. Not not Hardy and Fatty Arbuckle. Oh my God. Who's the guy? Okay, never mind, fat actor. Best actors all time. I should have done this first. Starbucks baristas have it the worst. Yeah, but I just went to Little Five, Shop 5, whatever it's called. Not Marlon Brando. Come on. This dude ain't even on the list. He did the oh my God. If this list is bullshit. Yo. What? Michael Caine at 15, I get a 16, Robin Williams. No, who is the big, you know what I'm talking about? I'm going to have to watch this stupid video. You're kidding me. I'm going to have to watch this video, and it's a 36-minute video. Shh, cover your ears. Can't hear this, YouTube.
12 Golden Age actors who were...
Here, hold on. Where is he? Here, this dude. Who's this?
I want a Katie.
No!
Extra cane,
Cover your ears.
2 extra toast, and I'll have sweet
shot,
Hold on.
they had to reshoot
This.
it multiple times
Who is
because
this?
Wells got winded trying to keep pace with the camera.
Wells. Orville Wells? Marlon Wells? Orson Welles. Oh my God. John. Thank you, John. Thank you. Orson Welles. You knew what I was talking about. That was killing me. Movie trivia sucks. Yeah, I'm MK Prons. I would say I'm probably the worst at doing movie trivia. I'm like legendary old fatty. And somehow John spoke my language. He was like Orson Welles. You know, one of those I love Orson Welles. I love Orson Welles. I'm just not prepared to talk about him, so my brain had totally like cordoned him off somewhere. Orson Welles. Oh my God. What I was gonna say is, if you're going to try to be dramatic, you know, Orson Welles this shit. Have you ever heard Orson Welles? Hold on. Like, for real, have you ever seen Orson Welles act? Like, watch some of his YouTube stuff, no joke. It will help you define acting. He is so good. Oh, wait, this is his outtakes for a wine commercial. I wonder if I could play this for you guys. Because this is so, this.
Turn camera.
Mark.
102, take one.
With overlap, action please. Action Orson, please.
Did you just do anything?
Sorry, cut. Yeah, rolling.
102, take two. Ah, the French champagne.
We gotta save that clip. Ah, the French champagne. Sorry, he has a bunch of like, when he was messed up or whatever. But Orson Welles, hold on. Oh, I should have prepared better. Because he has some phenomenal Orson Welles on American imperialism. Let's listen to this.
You've lived all of...
This is from the Dick Cavett Show. If you've never watched Dick Cavett Show, I feel like I missed out on a great talk show, because everything I see that Dick Cavett puts on is phenomenal. Oh, this is what I watched. Orson Welles perform a monologue about Noah's Ark. Let's see. I got to hear him on imperialism.
All over the place, all over the globe, and then you, for a long time when you were not in this country, then you suddenly came back. Oh,
We'll get back to the reporter talking about the Nebraska town that lost 30% of its workforce because this Tyson plant closed down after buying $2 billion worth of their stock back. We'll get back to that, but Orson Welles, you always got to take a moment,
what opinion do you have of some of the generalizations that are made about the country, that there's something violent in the American character, for example, or that
There is.
or the country's...
Just listen to him talk. When you listen to Orson Welles talk, what is it? Come here. When you listen to Orson Welles talk, he just a born performer. No other way. Born this way, I think what Lady Gaga put it as.
I think there is, don't you? I think there always has been, though.
Yeah.
I think it's part of our whole story. Mm-hmm. I think one thing that is generally true, the one generalization which is true about America, is that everything is true about it. Yeah. It's impossible to say anything that isn't true, good or bad. Our enemies are right, our friends are right.
Yeah.
It's an awful big country, an awful lot of different kinds of people in it, and violence always has been part of our story. It is, I've seen it in my own lifetime long before this period, and we certainly read about it in history. That's the way we won the country and stole it away from the Indians and all the rest of it.
Is it...
Hold on. What the heck are they doing? Ernest and Julio Gallo. Is that the CEOs? Okay, if you've never heard this Orson Welles monologue, I want to play this for you. It's 11 minutes, so I'm not going to play the whole thing. But look it up on your own. I wasn't planning on talking about this. I just came across it. This is, hold on.
Open.
Oh, wait, shut that off. There's an ad. Arena Club. Pokemon cards. Okay. This is Orson Welles doing a thing of, hold on. Noah's Ark.
And I thought for a while, and it's partly what the old man says himself and partly from the Bible as he quotes from it. And I hope that none of our listeners of any faith will be offended at the reminder that the story of the flood is, after all, a Jewish story. God looked upon the earth, and behold, it was corrupt. For all flesh had corrupted his way upon the earth, and the earth was filled with violence. And God saw that the wickedness of man was great, and the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. And it repented the Lord that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him at his heart. And the Lord said, I will destroy man whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, for it repenteth me that I have made them. Behold, I shall bring a flood of waters upon the earth to destroy all flesh, and every living thing shall die. But then, after he'd fixed it for a big flood to wash everything away, he began to feel a little sorry.
If you haven't seen that, go watch it. It's Orson. Just look up Orson Welles' Noah Ark. Just watching that dude. Natural born performer. If I was going to make the movie Natural Born Killers? If I was going to make an Orson Welles doc, I'd call it Natural Born Performers. No. I'd do Natural Born, in parentheses, Performer, Killer. Natural Born Killing It. It's a working title. I'm just the idea guy. That's it. Don't look at me. Ernest and Julio Gallo is the wine company. Okay, yeah. You've seen those. I've seen those before. It's so funny. He's so out of it. Might have had a little too much of the Gallo. You know what I mean? Wow, we got really sidetracked. Orson Welles. But anyways, what I was trying to tell this reporter, what's her name? Something Flores. I was trying to tell Miss Rosa Flores that if you're going to try to church it up and make this like a dramatic reading of Nebraska Town gone awry, Orson Welles it, You should be watching Orson Welles before you go live, So you could really be like, have you ever been in a town where when you step in, you feel like you're stepping through anxiety, the pain of layoffs are abound, like church it up like that. This is fake. Bad actor, boo.
This is a town of under 11,000 people.
Hold on, I'm gonna rewind her so we can hear her at the beginning. She really wants you to feel the pain, but she's telling us. She's not showing us.
Nebraska, what exactly is going on there?
Katie, have you ever been in a place where you can just feel the pain and the anxiety? That's what it feels like being here in Lexington, Nebraska.
That's such a bad way to describe it, because if you're in America, that's like how you wake up most days. If you work for a living. If your parents weren't wealthy like Donald Trump's, that's just welcome to America. This is America, as Mr. Glover once said.
This is a town of under 11,000 people, and 3,200 will lose their jobs on January 20th when
That's crazy. That's like almost 1/3 to a 1/4 of people in that town are working at that plant. Town of 11,000 gonna lose 3,200 jobs. And why? Why do you say? Well, Tyson Foods, come up. Stop pulling on my leg and just come up here. What are you doing? This cat is crazy. Come up here. Come here. Well, they're not struggling. I looked up their profits. Canada closed the border for that meat. I wonder why. It was open last year. But again, for those who are like, oh, they're not making enough money, or I don't know what you think. I honestly don't. But let me just tell you, when I see stuff like this, immediately, please don't play with that cord, cat. Immediately I go, oh, well, let's see. The people who have the least, who, stop. Why are you eating the charger cable? Stop, please. I usually look up stuff like, oh, Tyson Foods CEO, Donnie King. Total compensation 2024, 22 million. Okay. Oh, look, he takes a base salary of 1 million. Let's see what his stock is at. Oh, 14 million. So when I see that, because you got to look at, stop eating the cord. Stop. No. 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 When I see that, right? Oh, look, a significant increase from his 2023 compensation, 13 million. So he basically doubled his pay, right? So the CEO got his pay doubled. And just so you know, this is what, just to teach you what I do when I hear about layoffs. I immediately look at what the CEO is making. Because I go, this is an entire town that's about to collapse in Nebraska. Okay? I only know one person, 2 people from Nebraska. And they're some of the greatest people I've met. Socialist comrades of mine, fighting for a better tomorrow. And these towns survive on this. This is American industry, as Donald Trump once put it. So immediately when I read, oh, they're laying off all these people at this plant, the whole town basically is employed by that plant. So the ricochet is this will turn it into a ghost town. They'll later go into this in the thing. But how that works is, well, if the 1/3 of the people work at this plant and the other 2/3 do stuff in the town, well, the 1/3 that brings the money to go to the restaurants, buy the stuff, whatever, doesn't have that anymore. Everyone's going to feel it. And then we get a ghost town. But when I see these layoffs, I always look at what the CEO is making. And you always got to say compensation, not salary, because the salary, you'll go, oh, he only makes 1 million. And if you see that their compensation is double from the year before, isn't that incredible? They can shut down a whole plant, but this guy got a 100% raise. The CEO got a 100% raise essentially from 2023 to 2024. 100% raise. And they're going to shut down, they're going to ghost a whole town. They're going to shut down a plant. But when you see this, just so you know, the steps that I do is after I see, oh, look at that, stock awards at 14 million. Well, you know what? Let's see if they did any stock buybacks. That's the next thing I look up. And then you can say, oh, they purchased 43 million shares of stock buybacks in August 2025. And I go, let's go look up their shares. $59 a share for Tyson Foods. If you just round it up to 60, multiply that by 43 million, you get about $2.5 billion. They purchased $2.5 billion of stocks, of their own stocks, which this whole process was illegal before 1982 in America. It was illegal. We regulated this. Because what that does is it artificially jacks up the price of the stock. And who did we just go over? What was that? Donnie King, the CEO, he gets paid in stock. So if the stock goes up, he makes more money. He doesn't give a shit about the town, the workers, the people that are creating the wealth for him. This is why I'm a socialist, because socialists believe that CEO's job is irrelevant. What did he do? Say, lay them off? What the fuck did he do? Was he deboning the chicken? Was he processing it? Was he risking his life in the machines? Us socialists believe that those workers should have the power. And instead of purchasing billions of dollars in stock to buy back, that money should be reinvested into the towns, into the workers, into the communities, into the people who created the wealth. That's my version of socialism and, the definition. So it's not about any entitlement. It's about redistributing the wealth from the people who are stealing it from the workers and giving it back to them. So I have, again, no ties to Nebraska. I've known 2 people from there my entire life, but I stand for them and I stand up for them. Even though they're deep red, voted for Trump, and fucking did this to themselves, I will still say they deserve socialism, the redistribution of these 43 million shares of Tyson Foods, and it should be redistributed to those workers instead of this bullshit stock buyback thing that used to be illegal in America. But once these frauds like Trump got in charge, you know, and Reagan, these fucking Kentucky Fried assholes, once they got in charge, you know, they'll deregulate everything, convince the workers, oh, it's good for you. But I don't understand how anyone can support Tyson Foods. The only reason he got to go from 13 million compensation to 23 million compensation, you know, double his pay in a year, and then lay off an entire factory. The only way he could do that is because of those workers, those hard workers. This is insane. So I encourage you that every time you hear about a layoff, you go see what the CEO's making. See if he took a pay cut. That's really what we're trying to find out, right? We're trying to say, wow, if Tyson's got to tighten the belt, you know, pull themselves up by their bootstraps and just really play it close and tight, you know? We're not playing loose and fast with the money anymore, Tyson. We're closing plants. We got to really tighten things. And then you go, well, what is the CEO making? Oh, 2023, 13 million. 2024, 23 million? Wait a minute. The fuck did that guy do besides, you know, probably price fix chicken? Probably besides price fix, you know, things. What did he do? How many chickens was he stripping of their feathers, you know? It's unreal. And then you find out that they bought 43 million of their own stocks back in August. And now what are we? Let's see, August, September, October, November. We're 3 months away, and they're right before Christmas announcing, hey, we're going to lay off an entire town. Entire town that, you know, voted for the CEOs to be in charge. You know, all the Trump people like that. He went on TV and fired people, and then they're shocked when he runs the company like a CEO would and, you know, enriches himself and lets the workers suffer. Let's finish this with Rosa Flores. Church it up a little more, Rosa, because you're not selling me on this.
Tyson plant in town closes. People have described to me what's happening here by using the words catastrophe, crisis, the feeling.
I'm not laughing at the situation. I'm laughing at this lady. She's like, people have used words like catastrophe, crisis. Why don't you just, here's again, I worked in radio for 20 years. It's not TV, but you have the luxury of showing these people on TV. Why don't you show a couple of the workers, blur out their face? Say, describe how you're feeling right before Christmas, knowing that Tyson Foods CEO Donnie King doubled his pay within the past year, and he's laying off your entire town, closing this plant. How do you feel, and what are your kids going to say? You know? Why don't you show clips of these people? The news does no service to workers, man. They're making this a pillow landing for the CEO. That's the other thing, that just so you know, if I was running this news station, this is how you know the corporate media can't be trusted, because after I would talk about the layoffs, that it's going to put this town into the ground, into the dirt. If 3,000 out of the 11,000 people that live there work at this plant, this town is doomed. This will become a ghost town. We're watching it in real time. You always hear it. You see YouTubers visit ghost towns. This is like knocking on death's door. That psychic cat that I saw a video about is probably going to come visit them. There's a psychic cat at an old folks home that would visit the patients that were about to die the next day. So be careful, the psychic cat's coming for your town. But what I would do is, after I said that, I would go, and let's look at, you know, the numbers. You know, let's see how much profit they made. Because if you look up Tyson profits, they're doing great. Fucking chicken is kicking. That is like the motto. Because I don't know if you've seen the price of beef, but you ain't buying beef right now. So chicken is kicking. Tyson Foods making a ton of money. And I mean billions. And then I would show the CEO's pay. I would show that he made double the pay in the past year. And then I would talk about how much stock they bought back to enrich the dividend shareholders, aka probably BlackRock. I don't even have to look it up. Probably BlackRock's one of the biggest holders. You know, some huge private equity firm owned by some politician or some shit. That's what I would do to be fair and balanced in the news. This is how my newscast would go. And that's why I'm doing it like this, just so you know.
Of being collateral damage, hurt, anxiety.
This bitch is naming just words. She's like hurt, anxiety, slender man, skibbity.
Agony. I mean, just such
Skibbity toilet. Oh, that was a text from my son, sorry.
powerful words because of
Are those powerful? Those are everyday words, bitch. You know, bring me some, you know, fragilistic, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious laid off. You know, bring me a real powerful word. My Christ. This is why you shouldn't watch the news. And you should watch me. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. I comment on stuff like this all the live long day.
of what's happening here. The street that you see behind me is a vibrant business district. I talked to some of the owners. Some of them are immigrants. As you drive up the street, the names of the businesses tell you about the diversity in this town. People from Mexico, from Guatemala, from Somalia, some of them former refugees.
This is again like a fucking weird turn. I've watched this a couple times because I'm just critiquing the news so hard right now. And Rosa Flores, like, how does she get so derailed? She's like, the street behind me, which is just like a main street in Nebraska, I'm guessing. She's like, you can just tell it's a bunch of immigrants. And it's like, why don't you go talk to the workers who just got laid off? What the fuck are you talking? You're in a town to talk about Tyson layoffs, and you're like, look at the main street behind me. Let's go talk to the business owner. It's like, I get that. But how in this whole segment did you not find one worker who's laid off and ask them anything? This is how you know the corporate media silences workers, because they wouldn't even give them the time of day. She just read a list of words from your average, millennial teenager. Anxiety, crushing debt, student loan. These are powerful words. It's like, God damn, Rosa, you should be laid off.
Who worked really hard at the Tyson plant, saved their money, and became business owners in this community. There's another business here.
And now it even kind of sounds like she's narking. I don't know if MS Now is like right-wing. Well, of course, all media in America is right-wing. There is no leftist media. That's why I got to watch Valenti Vids or Status Quo. But it's all right-wing. It's just diet right-wing and then hardcore white supremacy right-wing where they tell you, green M&M's making a book turn your kids gay or something. Something, fucking so from the beyond. And old folks are like, oh my God, honey, throw all the green M&Ms out. But now it sounds like Rosa is snitching on people. She's like, and right over here at 25 Main Street, this Somalian immigrant is a business owner. It's like, Rosa, what are you doing, bitch? Man, see something, say nothing.
To my left down the street, that woman says that people have gone into her store sobbing. Her sales are...
Talk to the people that are sobbing. Why do I have to tell you how to do your job? God, maybe this is why I don't work in corporate media anymore. It's now dawning on me why the fucking 4 applications I send out a day, they're like, we've seen your stuff. We've seen your stuff. No thanks. Not very sponsor friendly.
Immediately dropped.
Because watch, this news, I'm not going to play the whole thing, but I guarantee you, they cut to like a Tyson chicken commercial. They're like, it's finger licking delicious. Patent pending. You can taste the dividends. I mean, spices. Ooh, that's what we should do. Anybody want to make parody Tyson chicken commercials with me? Where we could say, it's mouth-watering good. You can taste the CEOs paid double in every bite.
10 to 20% right after the announcement. Up the street here is a public library. Their company...
She's narking on all the woke spots. She's like, Right over there. Get a good shot of that one. Somalian immigrant. She's like over here. A Mexican one. And behind me, the library with all them woke books. Yo, Rosa's got it out for Nebraska. Yo, she is just narking on all the hot spots. Rosa, you fucking bitch.
From all over trying to recruit workers. Here to my left down the street this way, there's a pastor who's
Oh, she's like, and he's a woke pastor. He believes in empathy. Oh. 4 trillion in foreign aid and 30 trillion on wars and needless expenses. Oh, thank you, Galapagos GDC. Galapagos GDC. Thank you. That reminds me of another background I had. I found this and I wanted to share this. Please answer me this. Why am I paying income tax, property tax, fuel tax, higher inflation, higher interest rates so foreign countries can have billions of our dollars? Just asking because I'm tired of my family living on a budget while the rest of the world spends my money with zero restraint. Pardon me if I'm sick and tired of the gaslighting to manipulate us to take sides on teams. There are no sides. There are no teams. There are the thieves, Donald Trump and the Democrats, and manipulators. And then there are the copper tops, us, the batteries that make the economy go zoom. Remember, 70% of the economy is consumer spending power. If we don't have the money to buy shit, how do you think these CEOs get their money? From not paying us enough and then overcharging us. Speaking of that, you see Portugal? Wait. You see Portugal? 3 million comrades out on the streets, paralyzing capitalism. In resistance to oppressive labor laws, this is working class power. This is what solidarity looks like. They're protesting labor reforms. You see this across the world right now. You know, France trying to raise the age of retirement. America, you know, doing all kinds of strippings of regulations that protect workers. Defunding the CFPB. I mean, everything. But Portugal hitting the streets. Solidarity with Portugal. Solidarity. So, yeah. Next time, I like the end of this. Next time Congress votes to send our money to foreign lands and the president, any president signs it, the Treasury should take it directly from their pay and leave ours alone. 100%. All right, let's get back to Rosa.
Trying to figure out how to speak about joy on Sunday service.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Then they talk to a pastor who's like, how am I going to talk about joy? I got an idea, Pastor. You should bring up... the joy you should talk about is the joy that this CEO is enjoying of doubling his pay in a year while laying off your whole town. You should agitate, Pastor. I'm not going to play the pastor or the store owners because, you know, it's all propaganda. Because this pastor, listen to what he says. He's like, how do I find the joy right now? Listen to him.
Be the joy of this community in this Christmas season.
In this season, how do I find it? Oh my gosh. You don't. You agitate. You agitate, Pastor. Do your job. Okay? Do your job, Pastor. You go in there, pull up a slide. I'm sure you got a little slide. And you go, just so you guys know, your CEO doubled his pay in the past year. They spent billions of dollars in stock buybacks. Are we going to take it? Hell no. What are we going to do about it? We don't know. Let's come up with a plan. Dirty money. My generation was thought to be bulletproof. They were wrong. What generation is that? Ow. There's so many fucking nerds that mouth off. Ow, stop. Listen, if you want to come on, that's fine, but don't use my leg as a scratching post. Boomer. Ah, yes, boomers. The boomers. Thomas, I need a 13 million raise. Hey, listen, I'm all for tying executive raises and not just salary, because look, his salary is 1 million. I'm guessing his salary was probably 1 million in 2023. I say we tie. Somebody did a study. I did it here. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. Plotted it out that if we tied executive compensation to worker pay, workers would be making like $400 to $500 an hour right now. So let's just make sure that when they can double their compensation package, they have to do it for all the workers. You know, the people who worked to make that money. This dude fucking, I don't even know if he's seen the inside of a factory. Oh, what up, Crush Dice? What's going on? Good to see you. Say hello, cat. Hello, cat. Exactly, Thomas. Yep. But somebody broke it down. It was really interesting. I'll try to find it again. Hey, what's up, Dusty? Good to see you. Because they were like, you know, if you tied worker pay to CEO pay, workers would be making $500 an hour. We could afford to buy houses and stuff. I don't know who could be against that. You know, people hear that and they're like, yeah, you're right. And it's like, why are you against yourself getting a raise? You know, they always take themselves out of it and just think of other people that might enjoy life for a minute. And they're like, no way, never have it. And I'm like, so you would sacrifice yourself making that much money because other people would? Okay. I know, buddy. I know. Oh, yo, Rooster, you can't come in here with that language on me. Ain't happening. I'm moving out of America. Where should I go? Like coastal towns. Crush Dice. Thank you so much, Crush, for the $2.99 super chat. Why isn't it showing on the thing? Why doesn't it have the little timer? It should have went up. I don't know what's going on with my thing. And I can't heart it either, Crush. Why can't I heart it? Yeah, I can't. Stop. Don't eat. Don't eat my call word. Stop. You're going to pull my phone down. Please stop. You got to do it to yourself? That doesn't make sense. Finn McGinn, he works hard for his money. Stop bullying Don King, who doubled his pay from 2023. You can't say 2023 he was making 13 million. 2024, 23 million. Basically doubled his pay in 1 year. He worked so hard, he got 100% raise. You know that year that you worked really hard and your company didn't come to you with a 2 or 3%, and they said 100%, we're doubling your pay. You know, because that's heard of. I know, we shouldn't bully him. You know who we should bully? We should bully Tyson Foods for laying off, hold on, where is it? For laying off an entire town and buying 43 million shares back in August. They bought 43 million shares in August of their own, stock buybacks, which were illegal here in America. They bought them back, spent billions of dollars to buy that back, and then just a few months later announced closing down the Nebraska plant. Oh, we don't have it in the budget. We had to spend all our money on stock buybacks so we can enrich Blackstone or BlackRock or Blackstreet or Black Capital or I don't know what it is. The huge private equity firm that, you know, owns most of America. Hold on. What do you want to do, buddy? Travis Doge, I like your comment. People need to quit being idiots and start boycotting these companies and bankrupting them. I agree. Boycotts work. Speaking out works. This stuff does work, you know. So if you can avoid purchasing Tyson Foods in solidarity with the workers in Nebraska, even though, again, they voted for this, you know. I always heard these people say voting has consequences, and it does. And we're watching, the people who voted for a CEO who made a TV career firing people to allow this shit. I really like, the one thing I liked about Joe Biden is his pick of Lena Khan. If you don't know who Lena Khan is, she's a queen. Look her up. She's now working with Mamdani, I believe, in New York. But Lena Khan was the head of the CFPB, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. And she helped protect, she was doing antitrust suits and helped protect consumers against, thievery. And these corporations, these monopolistic corporations, are thieves. Biggest theft in America, wage theft. Look it up. It far surpasses any other theft. So Lena Khan was really, the people's champion, and that was the one thing that I really loved. And if you look at what has happened under Trump, he allowed Elon Musk to get rid of the CFPB, most likely because, there was a lot of stuff looking into him, and they don't want protections. They don't want consumers, you and I, we are the consumers, to have protections if shit goes awry and they end up doing rug pulls or scamming us or don't want to hold good to their word or, whatever it is. They don't like, they don't like accountability. So really important. Also, I linked a couple of articles by Common Dreams. Where are they? Hold on. Common Dreams is a great site to get some information. I linked this one. Tyson to close major beef factory, shafting 3,000 workers after boosting stock buybacks. And then there was another. This is the other one, Common Dreams, because it turns out Tyson boosted its stock buybacks following an announcement that its adjusted operating income had increased by 26%. Tyson controls about 80% of the U.S. beef market, along with 3 other companies. So there's 4 companies that we could buy shit from. Hurrah. Free market, right? That's a free market when you can only buy from 4 companies. But near record high prices in the industry said it was closing the Lexington plant, scaling back operations in Amarillo, and to right-size its beef business. You're going to hear this language now. They're calling it right-sizing instead of laying off people. But they're never right-sizing corporate salaries or right-sizing stock buybacks or right-sizing dividend payouts. It's only when it comes to the workers. But there's an antitrust lawyer who is looking into them engaging in market manipulation. Again, stock buybacks are the definition of market manipulation, so who knows if there'll be any accountability. But we should make stock buybacks illegal again. They were illegal up until 1982 here in America, and somehow people are just okay with these companies buying back their stock instead of investing in their workers or not having a layoff season. We have a layoff season in America. It's usually around the holidays. Right before the holidays, they start to announce it all. Great time of year. And when I was growing up, right around the holidays, these billion-dollar companies would reward their workers, and you would get a holiday bonus. That is long gone, and now it's the holiday layoff. So we need to fix this. And it can happen in voting. Stop voting for a guy who made his TV career telling people you're fired, and he was like the worst CEO ever. Just look into his, when he contracted people, Just go do a little digging. You got the world at your fingertips. There was some other stuff. This was so funny. This dude, I don't know if you heard this press conference. Where is it? Hold on. Here it is. This guy asked Trump a question, and you could tell he's a sycophant for Donald Trump, because I wish I had the video. Again, hit subscribe so I can do this professionally, or a little more professionally, because to watch him, he's going, when Donald Trump tells him he's a sycophant for the Democrats, he's going, and poor little schlub, man, he just wants to lick the boot, he wants to kiss the ring, and not the ring on your finger, the ring on your butthole.
Mr. President, at the end of this year, those extended Obamacare subsidies expire.
This is him.
What's your message to those 24 million Americans who will see their insurance premiums go up?
Don't make it sound so bad because, obviously you're a sycophant for Democrats. You're obviously a provider of bad news for Republicans. Let me just say something. The Republicans, I think I can speak for Tom and most other people. I think what most Republicans want to see is what I want to see. And I leave it to them, and hopefully they're going to put great legislation.
The funniest part, I wish I could play for you. This guy's like going, no, sir, no, sir, no, sir. It's so funny to watch these schlubs. There's some decent reporters in there, but there are some schlubs. And it's not sycophant, president. It's sycophant. That's okay. I don't expect you to know anything. You're a dummy. But, you're sitting in the president's office. So, just fucking look it up. I don't know. And it's so funny because he asked a question about healthcare prices doubling, right? And he's like, don't make it sound so bad. It's like, bro, you understand, read the room, dude. The country is like, bursting at the seams with debt. I'm not talking about the trillions you added. I'm talking about households. And if healthcare prices go up, that is real bad. But he's such a sensitive little nanny pants that he can't take anything. So I wanted to go over a little bit of, I wanted to show you some other meme stuff. Hold on. There's one for the photos that came out. If they exonerated him, he'd be printing them and selling them on t-shirts to you. You know it. Also, I see this in my comments all the time. Socialists believe the only way they could afford things is to take from others. New study, nearly 8 trillion redistributed from the bottom 90% to the top 1%. Oh, he's scared of redistributing wealth, but only only when it's taking that money back that we worked hard for. Here we go. Here's another good meme. The devil's best work, if you can read. And then I wanted to go through some of this because I thought, as your official YouTube vibe coach, the only one on YouTube with that title, thank you, patent pending, copyright. Unhealed people don't listen with their ears; they listen with their triggers. I want to see if reading this stuff, anything comes to mind for you. An emotionally immature person is defensive and often emotionally explosive. They don't know how to process emotions like anger, so they lash out, project, and blame. They shame you for your feelings, calling you needy or saying it's always about you because your vulnerability makes them. Because your vulnerability makes them. What? I ended weird. Reminder. People who can't communicate think everything is an argument. People who lack accountability think everything is an attack. To avoid their high reactivity, you silence yourself. You walk on eggshells, betraying yourself in the process. Your nervous system goes into fight or flight because your body knows this isn't safe. The body keeps score, and eventually yours starts to speak louder than your denial. With somebody emotionally immature, you'll have a childlike relationship. There's no real conflict resolution, no accountability, no growth. Many people are children in adult bodies. Unwilling to do the work, but expecting you to carry the weight of the relationship. There comes a point in your healing journey when you stop trying to convince people to do better. You simply observe their choices, accept who they are, decide you're no longer available for. So it's pretty interesting, right? An emotionally immature person is defensive and often emotionally explosive, right? People who can't communicate think everything is an argument. People who lack accountability think everything is an attack. I would like to play for you a clip of the president. I like this compilation. This was done by Esquire's YouTube channel. You can look it up for yourself. Type in Donald Trump keeps telling reporters to be nice and then berates them. This is by Esquire, and here it is. Your president.
What do you say to Americans who are watching you right now who are scared?
I say that you're a terrible reporter. That's what I say.
What do you say to Americans who believe that you
away.
got this wrong?
It's people like you and CNN that say things like that. It's why people just don't want to listen to CNN anymore. I could cause panic much better than even you.
I could cause panic much better than you. Bro, you're the president. Yeah, no shit. You're probably the best person who can cause panic in this world, you know? I.e., war in Venezuela. Oh my God. What kind of weirdest humble brag ever, the president going, I could probably cause more panic than you. Jeez. Doesn't that sound like a toddler? Speaking of childlike, right? When you have someone emotionally immature, there's no conflict resolution. Many people are children in adult bodies. I want to play a clip for you again. See if this is childlike. See if you've ever heard a child when you're like, yo, I could do that. And they're like, I could do it better than you.
It's why people just don't want to listen to CNN anymore. I could cause panic much better than even you. I would make you look like a minor league player. Well, I just think it's a nasty question. I think it's a very nasty question. Instead of asking a nasty, snarky question like that, you should ask a real question.
I wish the reporter raised a hand and says, sir, do you need a safe space from these questions?
And you should be saying congratulations instead of asking a really snarky question.
You bought yourself some time. You didn't use it to prepare hospitals. You didn't use it to ramp up testing. Right now,
You're so disgraceful. It's so disgraceful the way you say that. You know you're a fake. You know that. Your whole network, the way you cover it, is fake.
Acknowledge that you didn't think.
Keep your voice down, please. Keep your voice down. Hey, let's be nice. Okay, let's be real nice. Yep.
I love that. Let's be nice. All right. Why don't you show us how? Why don't you show us how? Why don't you show us how? And then I want to show you this. What happens in the brain when you remain passive to disrespect? And I say this because there's a whole cult of people out there that I feel bad for, you know? I encourage them to understand they are worth universal health care. They are worth more money at their jobs. They are worth owning a home and not going without food. They are worth government assistance, not just for welfare queens like the corporations, corporate welfare, but more importantly, they should not ever let one of their employees talk to them like this.
Smart people don't like me.
Smart people don't like me.
Quiet.
Quiet, piggy. I wouldn't let somebody represent me that talk like that. So with that audio, I want you to check this out. Your amygdala goes into high alert even if you stay silent. Your threat detection system registers the disrespect is dangerous. Stress chemicals spike when you feel threatened, humiliated. These fully don't discharge without action or resolution. Your brain registers a lack of protection and over time starts concluding, my voice doesn't matter, I can't defend myself. The freeze response becomes a default. You shut down, dissociate, numb, overly accommodating to conflict, to avoid conflict. Your self-conflict shifts. Eternal narratives form and evolve into beliefs like, I deserve this. I shouldn't make a fuss. Your tolerance for mistreatment increases, not because you want it, but because your brain starts normalizing it. So that's important for people to understand because the media, this president, are normalizing you to endure this suffering. They're normalizing violence on the street, and not in the form of crime, but in the form of state-mandated violence. They're normalizing the suffering. Why do you think Donald Trump says instead of, well, we're so prosperous right now that everyone can afford $37. He says you shouldn't have $37, maybe one, you know? And he's normalizing you to go without in the greatest country in the world, wealthiest country in the world, freest country in the world. What's free? Ain't the healthcare. You know, when somebody asks him, sir, healthcare is about to double for people who voted for you, who had faith that you would help them out. And he's like, oh, you're just the sycophant for the Democrats. You must love delivering bad news. That's why you have to be so dramatic, you know? And it's like, just answer it like an adult. You know, be like, well, that's unfortunate. Because here in America, that shouldn't even be, you know? But he can't. He reacts because he's feeling attacked, you know? He's always reacting because he's insecure. He's a little fucking man-child. Always throwing a tantrum, telling people, be nice. That's a snarky question. He needs a safe space, always. What else we got? Your biggest blind spot. Oh, this one was for me. Thinking your experience is everyone's experience. Your normal is not universal. Your obvious is not obvious to others. Your logic is not the only logic. Half your frustration comes from expecting people to see what you can see. They don't. They literally can't. I gotta remind myself of this. I gotta favorite that for myself because I forget that not a lot of people lost their parents at a young age, have been homeless many times, watched very close family members and friends die before they, even hit 25, has suffered so tremendous much, watched the adults around us become snakes in like a den of thieves and rob us. I've witnessed a lot of pain and suffering. And then I've witnessed systematic failures, vulnerable children because they were vulnerable. There's no safety nets. There's no welfare in America. So if you don't have parents to help you, you fall through the cracks immediately. And there are better ways. You can just talk to people in other countries and you'll find out. Why do you think Donald Trump's always like, why aren't people coming here from Norway? It's because the fucking country has a welfare state. They care about their citizens. They want to ensure their people do good. And once you start finding out that, these other countries are living civilized and not just capitalizing on every fucking moment from getting the news being paywalled to your healthcare being paywalled, they're not ensuring that their people don't go cold and hungry in the winter, just so some corporation can make an extra buck and pay a dividend to some private equity company. Once you realize that these systems exist and are working around the world, you go, whoa, what the fuck, man? So I constantly forget that I've lived many lifetimes in my one life, and I'm not coming from the same spot. I'm reminded one time when I was arguing with someone on Twitter, and I said, what about the people who ain't got parents? And the guy said, who? Because we were arguing about, he said, stay at home. This dude's argument was, you live with your parents so you could afford to buy a house. And I was like, what the fuck kind of argument is that? I could not get over the entitlement of this dude and the privilege and how shocking it was to me. Speaking as someone who hasn't had parents in a couple decades. But never mind me. I was like, what about the people who don't have parents? And he was like, who doesn't have parents? And I was just like, have you never seen Batman? Have you never heard of an orphanage? Have you never read Oliver Twist? Like, the fucking lack of understanding outside of yourself sometimes is bewildering to me. And I forget, and that's why there's a lot of people in the comments that just fucking pipe the fuck up and don't understand that, they might have it way better. No, they understand they have it way better than they think. And that's where this cruelty comes from. Donald Trump, notorious for wanting other people to suffer. One of the richest, wealthiest, powerful men in the world is ambivalent fucking to other people's suffering. And that's what they liked in him. They were like, oh, that's my guy. I got all the necessities I need. I even have some of my wants met. What I really enjoy, like Stephen Miller, he's a Santa Monica rich kid. And that's not good enough. He needs other people to suffer for him to feel something. Oliver Twist. Literally a book made during that era. Travis, I can definitely relate. I was an orphan at 12 on my own since I was 16. Fulcanelli, Rosetta, right there with your bud. I hope your friends make the holidays good. The cruelty is the point, yes. Dusty, longtime family member, just like Crush. Travis, and that's what that's why essentially I started the show. If you go back and listen to my first show about a year and a half ago, how I would open this is I would read stats. Stats I looked up, made sure they were accurate. Like 1 in 5 kids in America go food insecure. That's an American way of saying starve. Because, America had to church it up and make it nice sounding for wealthy white people to not feel bad about their country. So 1 in 5 kids go food insecure. For every homeless person, there's 25, 26 empty houses. There's a whole ton of stats, and that's how I would read it. I would say I'm going to open and finish my show every night until we fucking change this. Because I'm sick of people pretending like people ain't working hard enough, or they're just entitled, or, you know, whatever it is. Everybody's got the answer, but nobody's willing to try fucking just not paying corporations this much fucking money. Not letting them get our tax money, not sending our tax money overseas, not letting them exploit us, and ensuring that workers can fucking, you know, tie their pay to the rent index, to the CEO pay, to the stock buybacks. There are ways to fix this. And I'm not expecting the politicians to do it. They're bought and paid for by these same corporations that are exploiting us and ruining our country. Like we just saw with Tyson Foods. They are one of 4 fucking meat producers. You think this is a free market? We have 4 fucking people that make the meat we eat. 4 corporations. My God. We could probably have a double chimichanga by now, you know, but the 4 corporations decide, you know, and they just set the market. Just like the media. There's like 5 companies that own 90% of everything. So I'm trying to plant seeds. Plant seeds, okay? Plant seeds, get people thinking. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. Crush, thank you so much for the super chats.